So I come back with this convert to number, this program there, this function there in my hand. If you remember what this function did, if you send it a string like this, 3, 4, 5, a string like this, then it is converted to the number 345. Otherwise, if it is not a number, it will return minus 32768. This was the program with which function with which I am returning. Now the idea is, now the user will input an arithmetic expression containing 2 operands and 1 operator. Say for example, if the user inputs 52, he will enter like this: 52, then a space, plus, then say 23. So you will have to output 52 plus 23 is equal to 75. So remember, this has to be taken from as input from the user. User will input, say user might input 80 divided by, say 80 divided by, divided by 40. So your output should be 80 divided by 40 is equal to 2. Like that, user may input anything. User may input 130 into, say into 4. Your output should be 130 into 4 is equal to 520. So this is what is expected from the program. Now here the point is how to accept this 130 into 4, 80 by 40, 52 plus 23. Remember, this has to be a string. This has to be inputted by the user. If you have to accept this whole thing, this plus at least, then you will have to accept it as a string. Is not it so? So how to do that? See, very simple. If I now accept this as a string, say I tell the user put as enter a string, enter the arithmetic expression, enter the expression, and there you specify 2 operands, 1 operator, 2 operands, 1 operator. That is, you have to specify that 2 operands and 1 operator, not more than that, for this particular example. And after that, you also specify blank space between the operators and operands. Now here you remember, if I tell this to the user and say a slash n, put as you have done, so slash n is not needed, automatically slash n is there. So you have told the user, say you enter the expression 2 operands, 1 operator, blank space between them. So now suppose you accept it by getS. Suppose you accept it by getS. Call it an expression. So this expression has to be a character array. Entire say 52 plus 23 has to be there in the expression itself. So you can say that I will now accept from the user this expression, which must be a character array. Character expression can be as big as 100. I am taking a big space. Maybe that much big space is not required. So getS expression. Now remember, this expression, if the user inputs like this 52 plus 23. Now you have to separate this expression into 2 operands and 1 operator. Is not it so? Please understand this. This expression you will have to differentiate between 2 operands, this operator, this is operand. So let me have 2 more strings. So this, if this is an operand, again this has to be a string. Is not it so? The string can be 52, a word. So I take operand 1 and let that be, say, maximum 30 or no 20. 20 is even very big. That much big expression operator cannot be taken. Anyway, so smaller numbers would help over here, maybe 10. This cannot be more than 30. But I have just taken something big, which should not be done. You should not always take big spaces and occupy those spaces. But I am doing over here just for the explanation purpose and keeping it. So operand 120, operand 220. But remember, I need to have an operator. I call it operation because operator, you see, is a keyword of C. So let us use operation. Which keyword you will understand later. So operation, that is another character array. But that operation is, character array means it will contain only one character plus or minus or whatever, followed by maybe 0 at its end. Just for the use purpose, I will take it as a operation. So this operation which you take is another character array, cannot be more than 2. Is not it so? Cannot be more than 2. However, you can take it bigger, but cannot be more than 2. So you think over here, this can be maybe 6 characters, 7 characters, not more than that. So over here, 10 would have been enough. Similarly, over here, this cannot be more than 6 characters, 7 characters, not a bigger number than that, because even long int cannot accept such big numbers. So operand 1, 10, and this expression cannot be more than maximum 25 maybe. Maximum, even not more than that, even not that much. So 52 plus 23, how will you differentiate them? What my idea is, this is the expression, remember, this is the expression array. Now this expression array you will have to break up. Break up into what? Break up into this as operand 1, this as operand 2, and this as the operation. Remember, this is operand 1 character array you will have to break up into. This is the operation and this into operand 2. So how to do that? Very simple. Let us start like this. For I equal to 0 till expression I, you find a blank space. Remember, always possible that 52 plus 23 between after 5, even if it is 525, 5255, 5255, however big a number, but ultimately there will be a blank space coming after that. So I am taking like this expression I not equal to a blank space. Till it is not equal to blank space, you keep on incrementing this I plus plus, and then what you do is you copy all this expression I into operand 1I, all the characters. So what are you doing? You are gradually copying 5, then you are copying, see, you are starting from I equal to 0. So expression I, expression 0 is 5, this one. Then expression I means expression 0 is 5. Then I is 1, expression 1 is 2. That is being copied to operand. Then it will find a blank space and come out. So I is over here. Remember, I was here, then here, then here. So I is over here when you find a blank space. What to do then? That blank space in operand 1 has to be a 0 to indicate that that is the end of the string for operand 1. If operand 1 is a string, then at the end of that string there must be a 0, null character. So operand 1 is now ready for you. You see, operand 1 is absolutely ready. Now what you do? You now start with the next operator. What to do with that? How to find next operator? In the same way, I will have to copy the next operator. Is not it so? How to do that? See, you know, I is right now over here. I is right now over here. So I should go over here. Check what? I should go over here. So you can make it I plus plus. So that now I is just in this position. It was in this position. Now I is in this position. So I think you understand this. Till I is in that position, you should keep on doing this I plus plus. Is not it so? So here only you just write I plus plus. I was over here, point it to the next space. So this plus can be copied. So check out what I will do. I will now do for, see, when I copy it to operand 1, operator 1, operator, sorry, not operation, operator, not operator, operation. When you copy it to the operation string, then the operation string, this should start copying from the 0th position. So I start with a new variable j equal to 0. See, for j equal to 0 until expression I because expression I is over here now, till expression I is not equal to blank space again, not equal to blank space again, and I plus plus, that is expression should also move to the next position, and operator should also move to the next position, because I will keep on copy to operator. J will be the positions of operator, and expression and I is the positions of expression 1. So what to do? Very simple. Operation J is equal to expression I again. Please understand this. What is happening? Again, operation J is equal to expression I. What are you doing? You are copying it to 0th position of operation, and when it is blank, after this plus you put a 0. So here you put operation. When you come out, see, when you come out, then what is happening? Where is J? J is in which position? Say in 0 position, you are starting with J equal to 0. So what are you doing? Operation 0 is equal to expression I. Where was I? I was over here. So expression I is this one, which is copied to operation 0. Once that is done, in operation 0 it is copied. So what to do next? Next you can do is, in the next position, you copy a 0. Is not it so? The next position, you copy a 0. But see what is happening? J has incremented, I has already incremented, and I is pointing to the blank position. So J is already pointing to the next position where it is after plus, that is in 1 position. So operation J over here must be equal to 0 again. Please see this. Is not it so? So where is I? I is where? In this position now. But I should go to the next position to copy the operand 2 now. So in the same way, I plus plus. Next what? Next again start for J equal to 0 again. You may lose the J, doesn't matter, expression is already pointing. So till expression I is not equal to, not blank this time, expression I will be how much? Expression I will be till 0, because expression I will end now. There will be no blank position. Expression I will now become 0. Is not so? It will reach this blank position. So it is expression I is equal to 0. So check this. Till expression I is equal to 0, because it will now reach the end of 23. So at the end of 23, what is present? 0 is present. Expression is also a string, 0 is present. So expression I is not equal to 0, no more blank space, because at the end, between 52 and plus there was blank space, between plus and 23 there was blank space, but at the end of 23 there is no blank space, there is a 0. So expression I not equal to 0, again I plus plus and J plus plus, operand 2 J must be copied from expression I. Is not so? And at the end of it, again operand 2, because you have not copied the 0. Once it is 0, you have gone out. So at the end of it, J has been incremented, but at that J and at that I, or expression I, you found 0. So now the corresponding position of operand 2 must also be 0. Is not it so? So your operand 1, operation and operand 2 all are ready. What is operand 1 now at the end of it? At the end of it, over here, your operand 1 is 52, the string. At the end of this, your operation after this 0, operation is equal to plus in our example, and over here your operand 2, your operand 2 should be equal to how much in our example? 23. So this job you can say is now ready in your hand. This operation, operand 1, operand 2, everything ready in your hand, but they are strings. Now how to convert? Very simple. You have got the convert to number variable with your function with your in your hand. So let us have number 1 integer. The number 1 integer will be received if you call convert to number function, and to that convert to number function, and to that convert to number function you pass operand 1. Is not it so? Operand 1 you pass, you will get back the number expected. Similarly, number 2 is your operand 2. If you pass it to convert to number, then definitely you get operand 2. If you pass, then you definitely get the number version of it. Now remember, your number 1 and number 2 should not be minus 32768. That is, if number 1 not equal to minus 32768, number 1 should not be equal to minus 32768, and your number 2 should not be equal to minus 32768. Only then the question of computing the expression comes. In the else part of it means either number 1 or number 2 is minus 32768. So the proper expression was not entered. Say I entered 5e plus 72. 5e is not a number. So it should say enter a valid expression. Printf, a valid expression was not entered. A valid expression was not entered in the else part, because it means either this or this. You can use puts over here also, because you are outputting a string. Also puts or printf, both same in this example, in this case. So puts, a valid expression was not entered. Now if a valid expression over here, if number 1 is minus 32768 not equal to minus 32768 and number 2 is not also equal to that, then at least the operands were correct, but the operator also has to be checked, remember. So you check that if operation is equal to plus, not operation 0. Remember operation 0, because operation is also you have taken as a string. So operation 0, you could have taken it as a character also. However, I have taken it as a string. So operation 0 is equal to plus. That is, this operation 0 is equal to plus, the 0th expression, 0th character. And after that there should be a 0. So you check that also. Maybe somebody enters 52 plus minus 23. If somebody has entered 52 plus minus 23, it is still invalid. In that case, minus will be copied over there. So in that case, you can say it is wrong. So this is also wrong. Is not it so? So now you say you have to also check that your operation 0 is plus, that is, this is plus, but operation 1 is also 0. That also has to be checked. So operation 0 is plus and operation 1 is equal to 0. Then you know it is a valid operator. What you do? You say number 1 plus number 2 is the output. Printf. Printf, what do you print? You print that number 1 plus number 2, everything you print. Is not it so? You print %d, because number 1 is there in your hand. Number %d plus %d, number 1 and number 2 is equal to %d. So your first %d is number 1, your second %d is number 2, and third %d is number 1 plus number 2 added together. See this, do you understand? Very simple. I can copy this and use the next two, minus, into, division, next three. So I am copying this. I just copy this and then I paste. I paste. 4 will be needed. Is not so? But if somehow either operation 0 is not equal to plus or minus, in this example I will have minus, over here I will have into, or I may have division. Similarly, this has to be number 1 minus number 2. This has to be number 1 into number 2. This has to be number 1 divided by number 2. And here also you should write accordingly. This is not plus, this is division. This is not plus, but this is into. This is not plus, this is minus. So you can write these things. After this, you can say a valid expression over here. If this is not true, that is operation 0 is not plus or minus or into or division, then what? So over here, this must be else if. This must be else if. Is not so? This must be else if. And over here, there should be else. That is, it is not plus or minus or into or division, or maybe the next is not 0. That is, it is plus. It has not just entered. Maybe somebody has entered wrongly plus minus, as I was showing you. In that case, it is not a valid expression. So printf, a valid expression was not entered. A valid expression was not entered. You understand this? So this is the program which we wanted to write, and we can say this program should run now. If you declared everything, what have you not declared? You have not declared any integers. You have used int I, j. You have used number 1. You have used number 2. Anything else you used? You can have a check quickly. Operand 1 you declared, expression you declared, operand 2 operation, everything you declared, I, j you have declared now. So everything you have declared, number 1, number 2 you have declared. So now we can run this program. Let's see what happens. Let me save this first. So I save this, now I run it. 26 errors. Why? Okay. So these things need to be commented out now. 6 errors still. Okay. So what is the okay. So when you are calling convert to number, why did you give third bracket? Why did we give third bracket? We should have given, you are calling a function, na? It is not a third bracket, it was wrongly given, third bracket was wrongly given. It is first bracket, is not so. So again I save it and try to run it. 2 errors still. Misplaced else. Okay. Yes, misplaced else, because here this bracket was not closed. You have opened the bracket, but you did not, but we did not close the bracket. Anyway, so let me again try to run it. Still there should be some more error, because okay. Enter the expression. 2 operands, 1 operator, blank space between the operators and operand. Let me do that only. 52 plus 23. 52 plus 23 equal to 75. Run it again. Okay, so saving is a problem. Maybe this compiler is just making some errors. Anyway, so let me try to run it again. Alter, enter. Maybe 54 minus 35, 19. You can again try out. Alter, enter. 76 into 3. Let's see. Yes, 228. Everything working fine. One thing now with the division. Will division work fine? You have printed division as %d also. This should not be %d. Then it will only output integer. See this? Say if you write 76 divided by 38, it should work fine. Sorry, division. not question mark, division 38. It should work fine because 76 divided by 38, 2 is an integer. But what if it is 75 divided by 26? It will show 2 because you are dealing with only integers. So this should not have been integer, this is a floating point number, and number 1 by number 2 should be taking floating point float number 1 divided by float number 2. Please understand this. You just change this to float and then print it. Let me run it again. Now your 76 divided by 25. See, it will say 3.040000. Is not so? But if you enter an invalid expression, say you enter 76 plus minus 45. A valid expression was not entered. Enter again. Say 5t plus 2. See what it says? A valid expression was not entered because these were not numbers. They return minus 32768. I think you understand this. But I will tell you one more thing over here to end it. See, what have you done? You got the expression using getS and then converted it to operand 1 and operand 2 operation, then operand 2, everything you did. Achha, this same thing is done by scanf only, na? You have converted it to words. Say 52 plus 23 was entered. You separated 52, you separated plus, you separated 23. But this separate scanning is done by scanf. So in this example, instead of your getS, scanf could have been a much better choice. What I mean to say is, if I don't use getS but scanf thrice, say scanf I do thrice, then I can use, say I can easily do scanf %s, I can take operand 1, it would have scanned. Similarly, just after that another scanf scans operand word by word. So another scanf %s, this would have scanned the operation. Please understand. Similarly, a third scanf to scan the operand 2. 3 scanfs could have separately scanned operand 1, operation and operand 2. Is not so? In that case, all your for loops starting from here to convert the whole thing into operand, operator and all these things would not have been needed. What have you done over here? Used getS, then converted the expression to operand 1, operator and operand 2. But if you just get rid of this part and use scanf thrice, then easily this would have been converted to 52, 23 separately. You would not have needed anything else. After that, all these parts would have, we will need to. But that part, extra part of converting it would not have been needed if you use scanf. Is not it so? Let me run this and see. Save it first. Now run it. Enter the expression to operands 52 plus 23. Yes, same thing. So easy job, your life so easy now. Please check this. Is not it so? I have just scanned. So this whole thing of getS, after getS would not have been needed. So I have shown you an example where getS, where scanf serves you a better purpose than getS. Remember, after all, a string can also hold a blank space. But scanf, whenever it finds a blank space, it terminates the string and scans. So which one you will use? That is up to you, depends on the program. And in this program, you see, if you run, even if you put few blank spaces, not needed blank spaces in between them, then also the thing will work fine, because scanf neglects the blank spaces. If you have to do again by getS, say I get rid of the scanfs again, then again the getS will be needed, then again this getS will be needed, and this whole thing will be needed again. See this, I get back to getS, and then the manual conversion or the conversion through your own written program. If you get back, then this 52 plus 23 with blank spaces will not work. It will just not work. Let me save it and run it. See, it will not work. Alter, enter. 52, put spaces, plus 23. A valid expression was not entered, because the space in between you have kept no provision for them. Is not it so? You did not keep any provision for the spaces. You can keep. You can keep. Say, between these two, if you neglect all the blank spaces while you know I is there pointing to the expression. So while expression I, between these two, between the scanning of operand and operator, there can be blank spaces. So over here operand 1 done, after that operation is being scanned. So between these two, you just check while expression I is equal to blank, simply neglect those I plus plus. See what I did. Till it is blank space, keep on incrementing I, neglect. That is, I is over here, you have pointed I to over, but you have entered it like this. It found a blank space, it terminated from operand 1 over here. It found a blank space, it terminated checking operand 1 and came over here. I plus plus was done, it went over here. But there are blank spaces. So what to do? You just neglect those blank spaces and increment I. Keep on incrementing I. That is what I have done. I have neglected all blank spaces and kept on incrementing I. Same thing needs to be done over here also. While expression I is equal to blank spaces, you keep on incrementing I plus plus. Is not it so? And after that you again scan. So do you get this? This is okay. Then you can neglect all blank spaces in between. Now you do. Now you run alter enter. 52 space plus many spaces. 23. Oh, sorry, there is some error. What is the error? There is some error I made. What is the error I made? I kept on incrementing I. Oh, if you do 52 plus 23, see, it is fine. What the error was happening, was you have given many blank spaces. So the number of blank spaces and the number totally exceeded this 25 length that you assigned to the expression. You assigned an expression length of 25, but the number of blank spaces you are giving was much more than that. If you change this to 100, this problem will not happen. See, alter enter. You now do 52 plus, give many blank spaces, 23. Say 52 plus 23, 75. Last time what happened was I gave many blank spaces, but we did not keep the provision of inputting it to expression. Here we were getting the expression, but we did not keep that provision. So understand this. So this thing works fine. This would have been much better using scanf. If you use scanf, only these 3 lines of code. See this, only this 3 lines of code could have so easily allowed you to get rid of this entire thing or entire program where you needed to change all this manually or through your own written program one by one. You have just done it through 3 scanfs, and this program will run absolutely fine. Just see one last time. 53 plus 76. See, absolutely fine. So it's not so. You got this. So I will end over here. just by telling you or giving you one information. What is that information? See, you are calling this convert to number. This convert to number function is also inbuilt in C library in a function called ATOI. This is the function name, ASCII to integer, ATOI, A2I. A2I is ASCII to integer. If you call this function, then also it will work. Only thing is, difference is, if you send 23, A2I returns 23. But if you send it an invalid expression 2e, then it will return not minus 32768 but 0. That is, even if you put it the string, give it the string 0, it will return 0. But even if you give it any invalid expression, it will return 0, not minus 32768. So that is A2I. Where is A2I present? A2I is present in stdlib, stdlib. Did you include it? Yes, you are including stdlib over here. So stdlib is included. So instead of using this convert to number, see over here, if I change this to A2I, still it will work. A2I. See over here, A2I. A2I. But the problem is A2I returns 0. So again this minus 32768 checking might not work. See this, let me save this and try to run. It will create the problem because A2I returns 0 in case of invalid expression. Firstly enter proper expression so that you see it works. 52 plus 23. See, it works fine. Now you enter an invalid expression, see it will start malfunctioning. Say 5f plus 2. See, it will say 5 plus 2, 7. It converted 5f to 5. Do you understand this? But if you enter, say alter enter, say er plus 3. 0 plus 3 equal to 0. Why? Because A2I returns 0. A2I does this, it returns 0. If you enter an invalid expression, it returns 0. So it took it as a invalid expression, 0 was returned. So so your program expected, okay, number is valid, 0 is okay. So it took 0 and did the operation part. So if you have to do this, you have to change it to 0. You get my point? But in this example, it is better if you return back to convert to number, CONV to number, so that your expressions are properly judged. However, A2I, this facility is there with you and you may use it instead of writing your own function of convert to number. I think you understand this. So this part is okay for you. We can take a bit of break and come back very soon. Thank you so much.